Growth as an artist doesn't come easy, but it's essential. As humans, we're wired to choose the path of least resistance. It's efficient, but when it comes to creativity, that instinct can actually hold us back. If we give in to ease, we risk becoming stagnant, losing the spark that makes being a creative so powerful in the first place. That's why I believe it's crucial to challenge ourselves, to get uncomfortable, push boundaries, and confront resistance head on. I catch myself slipping into comfort from time to time, and when that happens, I switch things up. That's exactly what I'm doing here. By choosing to struggle through this anatomical, monochromatic piece, while still holding on to the idea of a bright and vibrant style, I wanted to prove myself and to you that real artistic growth doesn't come from staying safe. It comes from doing the difficult thing, from stepping into the unknown. I've created hundreds of paintings, and as I've said in many of my videos, the eye is my favorite motif. If the eye is the so-called window to the soul, then it is a desire for our soul to be seen, the ever-watchful, eternal eye of God to view us. This piece is one of a 3-part series of anatomical paintings that look at different parts of the body that we use daily. That is such an important part of life that we seemingly always forget about. My goal was to portray this in a way I have yet been able to previously. As an artist, I found this as a great exercise to push the boundaries of my creative prowess, where as if I simply just created the same old thing, it would just hinder my ability to grow. This isn't to say that repetition isn't beneficial. It definitely helps you render out your style and figure out your creative formula, but there comes a point where we stagnate and it plateaus. This also is a great reason to do commission pieces too. This piece really represents a conscious break from comfort. Focusing on one color really forced a deeper decision on tone, creating emotion and structure. This intentional limiting palette was meant to limit the visual vocabulary of the work and hold me down to create a beautiful and dark interpretation of sight and our morality. It is vital for us as artists to challenge our own ways, our styles, our mediums, and especially our mentality. When we deliberately step outside what we're used to, we strengthen not only our skills, but our confidence. We open new doors in both our portfolio and our creative thinking. It makes us more versatile, more adaptive, more alive in the act of creating. But when we only focus on one thing, when we lean just too hard into what's familiar, we unintentionally pigeonhole ourselves. We become in an artistic term, typecast, stuck in a narrow perception of who we are and what we can do. That kind of repetition might look like success at first, but it slowly drains the creative spirit to become this death to your creativity and deaf to new opportunities. Growth doesn't live where comfort does, really. If you're not comfortable, you're not evolving. True artistic development is found in the unfamiliar. When we choose to try something that we might not think works, something that forces you to rethink everything you know, it's those moments of friction and doubt that new techniques emerge, new voices come forward, and new visions are born, really. Discomfort isn't failure necessarily. It's a sign you're moving in the right direction. Discomfort isn't failure at all. Because comfort is quiet and growth is loud. It rattles you, it pushes you. It humbles you, and it's also very slowly accumulating, but it also refines you. That's why it's essential to challenge yourself, honestly. Choose the harder route, the new palette, the subject that scares you, and the techniques that feel odd. Definitely don't do it because it's easy, but because you're kind of demanded to. This is kind of an obligation of your own if you want to grow as an artist. And when we push boundaries, it's not just in some sort of societal, I can't speak, or conventional way. After all, when we try to deny tropes, we inadvertently become another think of a rebellious child becoming a punk. They once again take one trope and become another. True boundary pushing doesn't come from conformity or rejection, but what we are most challenged by and afraid of. Don't play it safe for art and for your own sake. Powerful art is born from risk, really. Ask yourself, what is the hardest thing for me to create? And dive headfirst into it. That sink or swim concept is anything but sinking. It's flourishing. In the early 20th century, for example, Pablo Picasso and his contemporaries changed artistic norms. They broke away from realism and deconstructed form entirely, creating Cubism. It was taken very hard at first, but it also redefined what painting could be by, choosing the uncomfortable and the unfamiliar. Picasso didn't just change his style, he changed the course of art history, really. His risk reminds us that the most meaningful creative breakthroughs often begin where certainty ends. And that is the kind of risk you have to keep in mind. So let's talk about confronting resistance as well. It's the invisible force every artist knows, that tension between what you want to create and what tries to stop you from creating it. It shows up as doubt, fear, procrastination, distraction, perfectionism. Perfectionism is a big one. And it always shows up strongest when you're on the edge of something meaningful. The Art of War, a book by Steven Pressfield, it's an amazing book because he describes this perfectly. He calls resistance insidious. It lies, it's always there, and its only goal is to stop you from doing your work. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you you're not ready, that it's not good enough, and that you should wait until tomorrow. But here's the thing, resistance isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're doing something that matters and something that's right. The stronger the resistance, the more important it is to break away from that and work. Most people back down when they feel it, but you gotta lean into it. We show up anyway, always come in, whatever. Even when you're in the ugly stage of a painting, even when you're worried or scared to finish it, you gotta win that. So don't wait for resistance to disappear. It honestly won't. Treat it like a compass. The more it pushes back, the more you know you're headed in the right direction. That's where the art lives, really. At the end of the day, art isn't just about making something beautiful. It's about becoming something deeper through the process. It's about stepping into some uncertainty, confronting resistance, and choosing the harder path because it demands something greater from you. This painting, this challenge, wasn't just a test of skills, it was a declaration, a reminder to me and you too that staying comfortable is never the goal. Growth lives just past discomfort. Vision is shaped in unfamiliar territories, and meaning is found when we risk showing up honestly, even when we're unsure of the outcome. So, wherever you are in your creative journey, whether you're struggling with a blank canvas, stuck in a cycle of repetition, or feeling the weight of resistance pressing down, know this, that pressure isn't working against you, it's calling you forward. answer it, and trust that the other side of it is your next breakthrough. Thank you guys so much for viewing the video. If you want more information on this painting, check it out on my website, torchesart.com. Peace.